Hello. Our session now is called Enabling Social Distancing and Remote Project Monitoring on Construction Sites. Giving this presentation is Sherief Elabd, Director of Industry Strategy and Innovation at Oracle Construction and Engineering. Sherief, over to you.
Thanks, Rob. All right, so thanks everyone for joining. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Sherief. I work for the Industry Strategy and Innovation Group within Oracle Construction and Engineering Global Business Unit. For those of you who are not aware of it, that's formerly what was known as Oracle Primavera, and after a lot of acquisitions, we got rebranded to the Oracle Construction and Engineering. So we're having a very interesting topic today, talking about what happened because of the pandemic, because of the shortage in manpower, workers on site, with all the developments that have been happening over the past few months. So enabling social distancing, remote monitoring, and all these appealing technologies today, before you consider one of these technologies, I think you got to ask yourself the question of where we are as an organization within the digital transformation. Where are we with our processes? Are we considering re-engineering? Do we have a process in place? Is that implemented, or they are just in books? Are we maintaining collaboration? Would that help only my teams, certain projects, or that's going to be something to enable across all stakeholders that I'm working for, be it an EPC general contractor or a project owner that is considering a rollout of a particular technology across all projects, consultants, and the contractors that they're working with. And we've been seeing a lot of considerations and review from our customers that they reached out to us in understanding where they are. With that in mind, you got to consider exactly what is the productivity and the performance improvement that you want to focus on, and review the processes and consider all cross-functional teams that they are part of this. As you can see here, that maturity level from process and automation perspective, because this is not only automation, and it gets into the weeds of the process management as well. It can be in a very firing solution, as we consider this a marginal, or it might be an evolving or a best-in-class solution as well. So let me show you what we consider within Oracle CEGBU as an innovation strategy. This is not only an internal thing, this is actually something that we do internally within CEGBU, and it has a direct impact on our customers. So within the CEGBU, as everyone knows, that we build solutions. We have the Primavera, we have Equinix, we made a lot of other acquisitions in the market. We've been used for the past 30 plus years or so, but we also acquire, and these acquisitions, they come as market acquisitions in certain territories, or maybe complements to the solutions that we have within Oracle CEGBU. Leveraging the internal Oracle or the broader Oracle after the acquisition from Oracle to Primavera is mainly based on two streams. The first thing is the cloud, and we're currently on the OCI Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, the Gen 2 cloud infrastructure, one of the most advanced in the world. And we're also leveraging the technology. Most of our applications are leveraging the Oracle technology stack, from operating system, from web applications, from even Oracle AI, IoT technologies, et cetera, et cetera. And for this, we also consider partnering with a lot of best-in-class and leading companies in the world to leverage these solutions. When we talk about business process automation, there are a lot of things around in the market, from advanced work packaging, from environmental health and safety, and we want to make sure that we're doing this with industry partners such as CII, such as the PMI and other partners, so that we can have that global reach and the coverage for our customers. However, looking at the landscape today, we can't really do it at all. within Oracle. So within our innovation lab, we started bringing in startup and innovative partners to work on that. And the end result is you as the customer. So with our Oracle Industries Innovation Lab in Chicago, our vision was very clear. It is not only a place where we test Oracle technologies, but it's also for our innovative partners. Let me show you some examples with what we do across the life cycle. With our solutions in mind in plan, build, and operate, where we're covering with probably some different solutions in some areas, such as the project controls, we made sure before we get any of these logos that you see on the screen is that they have best-in-class technology and they have use cases, compelling use cases to the market, to the industry, but also having that integration in mind to plug into our own solutions, or else it will be just considered as a technology, appealing technology, and then we throw it back on our customers to think of, well, how does that tie into my IT landscape and specifically the project management? And do I need a system integrator to bring that technology, make it with a use case, construction, a flavor use case, and then how do I integrate into my IT landscape? Let me pick on a few of these examples. With our Oracle AI technology, artificial intelligence technology, having cameras on site, that's not something new. A lot of construction job sites across the Middle East, they are using cameras today for time lapse, for spotting some observations from site. But what we do with the Oracle IoT technology is beyond. We managed to build a solution based on use cases that they came in from our customers. So that's a really very bespoke one to spot safety observations on real time as they occur in the job site. So it's more a proactive safety and environmental management application. There are a lot of use cases that we have developed within that particular solution. And the good thing about it is it notifies the people who are participants in a workflow to take an action on it on the real time. So it's not only having the observations and someone is looking at it reactively towards the end of the day or later on. That automatically triggers a notification on your mobile application as part of a workflow, and you can actually react to it. What's happening? What's going on? Do we need to take a further action or not? Collectively, a supervisor or a construction manager, for example, they can review a dashboard, such you can see, to see all the incidents, all resolutions, and all issues that they happened with the different severity levels. And of course, rank this, put your KPIs against how many issues have been resolved versus still pending as well. So another example, I'm sure that everyone is aware of what's a virtual or a visual command center or a visual command center means here. So our friends from Reconstruct, it is a very world-class leading company. They have a reality capture solution where all these cameras that I'm talking about, they can capture the reality or the actual performance of the project. And also they can bring in the models or the drawings or even the PDF of these projects and then compare and contrast the reality versus the actual. And the result is really massive. When we're considering the quality management as one of the practices in the construction industry, a lot of issues are not manually detected on the spot. So that helps you trigger in the back end, and that back end can be Primavera Unifier, it can be Oracle Equinix, to create a quality issue that might require an inspection. And again, that leverages the workflow engine that you have. And let me make that general because it's not only our own products, but when you consider that use case that I was talking about is, it's not only about the technology, think about how that technology can be plugged into your business back-end applications, because at the end of the day, Sherief needs to be notified that there is an action coming from that technology because there was a quality issue detected or a deficiency or a variance, just any variance between the reality itself and what was there in the design. To bring this above and beyond, we have integrated this technology with Primavera P6 so that it can measure the actual performance. And there is a mobile application where construction workers can actually review, edit, and comment on the actual performance as well. So it's an all-in-one solution that it ties into your project planning if you're using Primavera P6 and also in your project control system. One of the other examples that we're really excited about is our friends from Turiex. They have a device that can be plugged into your construction worker belt, and it can GPS or location track the worker for timekeeping, and it actually sends these actual hours versus the idle hours against the tasks that they are assigned to that particular construction worker. It is such a great technology, and I would say it's on the way to replace these manually fit timesheets in construction. We all know that it's such a bothersome task to have every construction worker filling up their timesheets, or even construction supervisors to do that on behalf, with 2,000 and even more construction workers on daily basis. This is not really something practical, and it did not see a lot of success over the past. Very few references across all the vendors actually on site. So those guys, they were very proactive responding to what's happening, and they have developed another sensor that it can be mounted to your helmet, and it detects social distancing. It detects some other parameters for the construction worker safety, and it sends all these notifications to the construction supervisor or superintendent to which that worker is reporting to. So there is a lot happening here with the remote monitoring. And if you might have noticed, the theme for all of this is the job site, where the projects do happen. In the past, most of the opportunities, most of the automation focus have been spotted on project offices, planning team, project controls team, but it's never been that obvious for the construction job sites with only manual solution, mobile solutions without implementing technology. So how did we do that? What we did in the Construction Innovation Lab back in Chicago a few years ago is we started with the phase number 1. It's just a trailer, as such you can see in here. And about a year ago, we decided to expand on that and build for the second phase of the Construction Innovation Lab. It's going to be, it's in progress. We're in the final stages, and it's going to be launched very soon before the end of the year. And we made sure that we're not only making it a physical experience with all what's happening with the travel ban and lockdowns. We made sure that we added some technologies into the lab so that we can host our clients on a virtual tour across the innovation lab without compromising with this particular experience. It's actually worth to mention that the innovation lab itself with our contractor, they have deployed all these technologies that I mentioned to yourself, along with the Oracle CEGBU product. So we have a good example and practical example of how you plug all these technologies together, and it really proved a massive success. So that's how the lab looks like in Chicago. And that's an actual shot from about 3 weeks ago from the construction lab itself. We're really excited about what we're doing in there, and we'll keep on expanding the use cases, the startup companies, and the integration use cases that we are doing with our own applications. Maybe before we finish in here is 4 things that I want you to put on top of your mind when you're considering a selection of innovative technology. The first thing is the security and scalability. You don't want to just go with a technology that it provides a solution for just immediate or imminent requirement without understanding a roadmap of how this would scale up in the future. Make sure that the connection or the use case is there. The technology might be massive and great, but probably it does not have the integration into whatever your business backend project management applications are. Make sure that you're having that scalability as well when it comes to the hosting on the cloud. And of course, focus on how would that work from a common data environment perspective. Whether this is going across the life cycle of your projects or your projects and facilities as well. Hopefully that gave you some insights on what's happening today. Happy to have questions, and I look forward on chatting with you on a roundtable after a few hours related to the digital transformation. And of course, we're going to touch on the innovation as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherief. Questions that come through is you were talking about a lot of technologies there and how they can help on different phases really of the construction sector. How easy is it, particularly in these times, to convince a board or a management to invest in these types of technologies?
Yeah, that's a great question, Rob, especially with the budget cuts that we're seeing everywhere across the world. It makes absolute sense. So the key for this is show the value proposition, but also complement this with some performance indicators where we can anticipate performance improvement and productivity. That's where we're calling the value hypothesis and value engineering, because any management, in order for them to invest today, it's not about how appealing the technology is, how great it is, how very good looking it is. It's about how would that bring me an ROI, or how would that improve the productivity? How does that respond to a current challenge related to maybe local regulations, related maybe to shortage or waste in material, etc., etc. So probably the opening for us into all these conversations that we have with the management is, if you deploy this with that, that's what you're going to get. And hence, we're bringing our startup and innovative partners into piloting phase, where customers can actually test this in 1 or 2 projects, and then expand and roll this out across the projects when it's the time for bringing this in.
And then with your innovation, that's just located in one region?
Correct.
So how will customers from around the world be able to get involved with that?
Okay, so the good news is the one that I showed you is the very central innovation lab back in Chicago. However, soon we will be announcing our new innovation lab that it serves the Australian region. It's going to be in Sydney. A few months later, there will be another one in Reading, the UK. And there is the Middle Eastern one that it's going to be announced for the beginning of the construction, probably by the first quarter of next year. So that's for people who are still willing to travel and go. Like I said, if you want to have the full experience of the innovation lab, you're not put down with the travel at all, because we have cameras, we have a complete virtual experience that it can be organized, bespoke organized for our clients in order to travel through maybe a Zoom session, and they can walk through the innovation lab, wear some goggles if they want to have like a touch look and feel of what's happening in there. And this can be organized for a particular customer, bringing certain technologies only into the lab to show each customer what they are actually interested in, and not all these logos that everyone has seen. So if you're interested, please reach out and we can organize that whole virtual experience for you. So.
And just finally, because many of our audience will be in the Middle East, where will the Middle East lab be built?
Well, we haven't decided yet. We will be announcing this sometime in Q1 next year.
So people can pitch to have it in their country.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it will provide both physical as well as virtual experience, so that we can meet with the local time zones, et cetera, et cetera. And it's really worth to mention, Rob, here is the selection of the innovation lab partners. They come based on market and territorial kind of preference. So you might find a logo for one of the innovative technologies in the US that they do, for example, remote timekeeping and construction safety, worker safety management, that it's not there in the Middle Eastern partner, because probably the traction is more with another partner that we put it in the market. It's more appealing to our clients, and it provides an immediate solution based on local regulations in the Middle East that probably does not apply to the US. So we're making sure that it's very regional, it's very specific to the demands and the needs that we see in each territory.